Welcome to Flory Models Daily Live at 5 show. Here we are on the 11th.
The 11th
of January 2018. See, I'm out of practice.
I thought you were going to say December then.
I know, I said I'll do it this time. Yeah. So anyway, I've just peeled you out the spray booth.
Yes, you have.
Because you've been in there painting and spraying and everything else.
I have. The atta is ready for weathering and oiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the final, well, I'm going to do the video for the, well, I've done the video for it, should I say. I'm going to edit it and get it all up for you guys so you can see part 2 of the atta. It's been a massive learning curve for me because I took on quite a lot. I didn't realise how much I'd actually took on until I started doing it, and I was like, oh god. And then so I've been, first time I've masked anything, first time I've mixed colours, first time I've hand painted, first time I've done pretty much all of it, to be honest, but I've loved it, really enjoyed it, and I really like doing something different, and I think that's what makes it so great. The fact that for me it's something, because I didn't research, I didn't look at, I looked at obviously other people's, but that was kind of something that I came up with by myself, and I'm sure there's probably somebody that's done something similar, but for me it was like my own thing. So I'm really,
interpretation into it all.
Yeah, it is, and I thought it's been really cool to do. So yeah, so part 2 of the atta hopefully should be with you late Monday.
Cool.
That's the aim. That's the goal anyway.
That's the goal. Get it done. Get the editing done and all the rest of it. Yeah. It is looking good. We'll show them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but no, it is looking good. And again, it's nice that, you know, obviously I show you these things, but then you really go to town on it. You know, you don't hold back. I'll give you that. You never play safe.
No.
Because like I've said to you, you get people that will say, okay, we'll do it in the grey, so it's just one coat of grey on it, and then go through the motions of doing weathering and then perhaps a little bit of oils. Yeah, not you. It's like 50 shades of grey, that thing.
Yeah.
So yes, and because you've been doing your own custom mixes with it as well now and everything else, it is looking very good. I don't know if they can. No, they can't quite see it. It's behind you from there.
It's a surprise.
A surprise.
Actually, I can show you a little bit.
Can you reach?
I can.
Bring the cat, as I call it.
She's still a little bit wet. But this. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you reach? I'll move the camera early. That'll do.
So here she is. So as you can see, I don't want to touch her too much because I've got obviously hand painting going on there. But yeah, she's completely
coming along very nicely.
Changed.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got a couple more things to hand paint on the legs, and then it will be the weathering probably tomorrow. Depending on the video, because I want to get the video done as much as I can. I want to get that done as quickly as possible because I'm not like the pro over here with the editing. The editing's something that takes me a little bit longer, so I want to make sure that that's perfect and right and ready for you guys. So yeah, that's been me today. Oh, and another thing that I did today, had a busy day today. Another thing that I did today was I have got aprons on the way.
Yes, at last. Version 3, 2. This will be the third one's in. Hopefully these ones aren't like something from a Christmas cracker.
So I've got 2 types of aprons coming in, and I'm going to pick one of those, and then they should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, they should be with you depending on how long it takes them. They said roughly around 14 days to make these, so so after obviously the 14 days I should, fingers crossed, have them in. So those aprons will be with me tomorrow. So, and I've already sorted the t-shirts out with my girls and the main girl as well, so they will be in medium, large and extra large. But there will be very limited stock on the medium ones because
there isn't many medium people.
There isn't many medium people, but I am going to have a look into as well, having a look into some women's sizes, maybe getting a couple of women's t-shirts, so they won't be.
I won't. Go on, you know you're going to say it.
They won't be
for the broader person.
No, I was going to say they're not going to be polo necks.
No.
They're not going to be polo necks. They're going to be a little bit more feminine.
Right.
A little bit.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, as soon as those ones have ordered, I'm gonna ask them about that and hopefully get some nice t-shirts for any ladies that wants to have a Flory Models t-shirt. Either, well, it'll be the sci-fi girl or your main girl, which is on this t-shirt right here. So yeah.
Very good. Cool.
Busy day.
Busy day. Loads of you have been asking about the new sander that's coming out, and loads of you saying about, oh, put the price up, be fine, all the rest of it. Honestly, guys, we're not worried about the price. We talked about it yesterday. We got your back on that one. All right. But some of you have been saying, can you pre-order it now because you don't want to miss out? Honestly, it will be the usual thing. It will go to members only for at least 2 weeks, maybe even a month, whatever it is. Okay, until we're pretty sure the members, we've got your back and you're covered. Then it'll go out to the masses. So don't worry about having to pre-order it, because a couple of you messaged me today saying, look, can you put in a pre-order because you want this one and all the rest of it. Don't worry about pre-orders. We will have enough to come in. I know we've got roughly, I don't know what it works out in the scheme of things, around about 20,000 coming in, but it is that thing of saying, right, members only. You'll get the discount as well, because you get the 15% off as well. And then obviously once we're happy, everyone's been sorted and we got rid of the normal sort of rush at the beginning, then we'll put it out to the masses and we'll get the second rush that comes in from that one. And if that means we have to have a second order going for that one, that's what we'll do and move on. This coming in as well, again, because what happens is they're manufactured, obviously it's all manufactured in the UK, but it goes to 2 places. The first one actually makes sanders for us, the second one does all the printing, so it's a little bit long-winded, and sometimes it gets delayed because of printing, because obviously they have to set up all the machinery to print all our logos on all the different shapes and sizes we do, and that can take a few more weeks than normal, but I'm hoping end of the month. I'm still confident we'll be good to go by the end of the month. That's the plan with them anyway. So roughly around about 2 to 3 weeks we should be in a good position to go with those and make our way through. So, but don't worry about pre-ordering. I'd say I had about 5 or 6 messages that came in overnight, and it was like, can I pre-order? We've got your back on it. So don't worry about that one. So yes, big thing for me. I started on a model.
You did.
A real model. Not one of these Bandai easy clip together things. I've gone from a 1990s Crusader that takes filler. No, it doesn't actually. It's a really nice kit. I have to say, this is definitely one of the nice kits.
It's a small version of the Buster, isn't it?
It is. It's mini Buster.
And I had a little bit of a history lesson on this, didn't I, today?
You did. I was teaching you about gunfighters,
that it's
wasn't
the last gunfighter.
Yeah.
Although they had to go back to their original plan with the guns because the missiles didn't work.
The missiles weren't very good, and then the MiGs could outturn with a gun and get a gun kill.
So yeah, I learned something new today.
For anyone who doesn't know, not that I'm some type of historian, but basically I was explaining whilst they called them the last of the gunfighters with the Crusader, and obviously because it's got the 4 guns on this one, its primary weapon was the gun over everything else. Although it carried, obviously we know, missiles, sidewinders in this one's case, and stuff like that, it was the case that after this came the Phantom, and as we all know, didn't come with a gun. The big thing that was lacking for the Phantom is because it didn't have a gun, so then it had to come back, and obviously gun pods were fitted, and then later versions of obviously with the Phantom it came back with a gun, but it was the big Achilles heel because they couldn't get a gun kill and couldn't get in close enough to do it.
You also learned something new today as well, didn't you?
Which bit was that?
FK8.
Yeah, Smarty. Yeah.
I was so proud of this.
You were.
So I've had a few of you ask me whether we can get the FK8 in, and that is Andy's model, which is here, and we are going to look into getting it in, aren't we?
P&M will get them in.
I've asked P&M, so that will hopefully be in stock with you soon. So you can buy it from P&M Models, because I had a little word because there's a few of you that asked for it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say the review of that is up with you right now. I put it up this afternoon, and it's a really odd kit. It's one of those ones where I didn't know what it was. Andy brought it down at Christmas. Obviously, Andy was here at New Year. Left it sort of here, and he said, "You have a look inside. It's a bit weird." So, to be honest, I had opened up the box, hadn't looked at particularly anything detailed, but the instructions are just like Wingnut Wings, and I've got a Wingnut Wings kit there. And to be honest, I did have a look, and they are literally clones of each other. But also the strange thing is as well, I've never seen one of these newish copper state models, and they are absolutely beautiful. They are very, very nice. They're one of those kit manufacturers which is obviously just come out a little bit of left field. They're very specialist because they tend to do a lot of World War One and the sort of biplane-y things and stringy things, as I call them. But they are absolutely fantastic, phenomenal kits. It's 1/48 scale, so it's a little bit too small for something I'd feel comfortable doing. But you get obviously a resin engine with it. You get a blued white metal manifold exhaust system with it that's been blued, so that means it's been heated, so it looks like it's the right colour how it should be. You get then a absolute shed load of photo etch, which makes up the entire front end of that thing as well. It's photo etch. The actual plastic involved is good high quality stuff, and they've done that unthinkable thing that amazingly other manufacturers can't do. There's no ejector pins on the wings. So you've got these huge wings on this, and to be honest, because it's 1/48 scale, you think it'd be tiny. It's not that small, but it has actually got fantastically detailed fabric covered with all the ribbing showing through, and there isn't a single ejector pin on anything that's going to show on this kit, which is absolutely kudos to them, because again, not being funny, a manufacturer like that can come out and chuck something out with no ejector pins marked, yet Tamiya still have to have them in there somewhere. So yeah, it was complete shock, and I absolutely love that kit, and if it was a little bit bigger, I'd go for it. But to be honest, it's not my scale, you know, that's into stringy things. But also things like the turnbuckle system on that one is done in photo etch, and it looks to be very simple how it goes down and how they've done it, and things like that. So from that point of view, it's like one of those kits you look at it and think it's got everything you need straight out of the bat, straight out of the box, and you're going to end up with something really, really nice and highly detailed. Okay, I haven't put it together, so I can't comment on the fit issues with it, but looking at it, it's everything you'd want in a kit. Done. It's as simple as that. There's no reason physically to go out down the aftermarket route for anything, because it's all in the box. And then to tap it all off, it's only £50. So it's a bargain, because normally you'd be looking, maybe if that was just a normal kit, you'd be thinking, okay, 30 quid for the kit on a good day. Then you're thinking, okay, so we need some photo etch for that. Okay, 15, 20 quid. And then you're thinking a resin engine, it's going to be a tenner. And then all the other bits and pieces that go with it. So it's technically a £100 kit, and it's not, it's 50 quid straight out of the bat. So I have to say, for me to have a new manufacturer I've never heard of before or anything else like that, it's one of those real nice surprises that something's come out and done it. And if I remember rightly, it's Czech Republic, isn't it? Produce of, made in, I can't remember, Latvia.
Oh, Latvia.
So it's from Latvia. So it's a Latvian company, and again, I just absolutely love it. And they've done some, you know, great other kits as well. Some really nice, interesting subject. You covered in masking tape. So yeah, so from that point of view, if you want to, you know, have a go, something a little bit World War One-ish, things like that, and you want to go that little bit extra with the photo etch and everything in there, which let's face it, isn't in the Wings kits, or not to this extent certainly, then it's definitely well worth you having a look. Because obviously I've got the sock with camo over there, and I'm going to be doing that for the 100 years of the RAF build, and yeah, it's one of those things. It's a lovely kit, but actually I think this one's better. I know everyone is saying it'd be like, oh no, you can't do that, but actually I think that is a very, very nice one. Copper State is the name associated with Arizona. It looks like the top left corner of the logo. Yes, it is. It's the Arizona State thing on there. Yeah. So yes, very nice indeed. Although I don't think it's a picture of their map, because that's definitely not Arizona shaped. No. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt. Stood there, I've got a sign that says welcome to Arizona behind me.
I haven't been.
I had to do that one.
I haven't been.
Haven't been. No. We won't talk about Arizona.
Yeah, we won't Phoenix. Talk about Arizona, will we?
Not a moment.
Not
anyway.
A moment. Hi everyone in the chat.
Hello everyone in the live chat. So saying hi all, are we ready for day 3 of Hacky Escape? Well, I think we're going to swiftly move on from that one.
Yes.
It's funny because you speak to people and they all go, lovely. I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, no, it's
more
not,
people have said to me
like
it's lovely than not.
It is not that bad, but it's if you can get over that hurdle of what it is.
Yeah.
And you just can't. So no. But yeah, a lot of you today, well, some of you today, we got out the rest of your orders by courier.
Yes, barring one. We've got another one to get out.
Yeah, we've got another one to get out, but the rest have gone out. Is Scooby's gone out as well?
Yes, Scooby's has gone. Scooby and his washes, they've gone. Yeah, everything's gone. They're all on sign for, so they'll all be with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's one more to go out, and then that's going out by a separate courier because it's too heavy and too big.
Yeah.
So that's going on with UPS. So, but they haven't picked up yet. So yes, good one with that one. John Overton, I believe, very happy with the Crusader as it was faster than the F100 with the same engine. That's right, common engine between the two. So it was like Navy, Marine Corps versus Air Force. So yes. Sorry, the US Navy were happy, etc. I'm sure everyone was happy. Happy at the end of the day. Right, evening all, that's Chris. Any news on the Airfix 172nd Phantom review? As soon as it gets here, I assume my cohort in all of this, Matt, he had them obviously, they all get sent to him because he's got the warehouse, not me. So from that point of view, they are with him, they are for sale, they are available and all the rest of it. He has sent me a care package, I hope so, because to be honest, he's got the paints for doing my Crusader. They're coming in on it. And then so as soon as they're here, I will do the review. If it turns up tomorrow, I'll do the review tomorrow and it'll be up with you tomorrow night. It's as simple as that. I'll make sure you've got it. If not, I have got another review for you tomorrow anyway. So yes, we've got lots of stuff going on there. By the way, the weathering book from Jamie. Sorry, I got the weathering book from Jamie today. It's the best modelling book I've seen. See, and I bet Jamie hasn't even given him a fiver to say that. Because I haven't had a fiver for saying it, so I'm damned if anybody else is.
Yeah.
So yes. Good-o in you there, guys. Right.
There's quite a few of them that have ordered it.
Ordered it, yeah, I know. People have been saying to me, obviously, where can you get it? It's the usual places, modelling type places. But don't forget, it is new. It's only been out. Jamie got me a copy. I think it came out like a week before he managed to get a copy to me because he was dying of girly flu or something. So from that point of view, they are filtering their way through your normal MIG outlets and stuff like that. So if you want to grab it, grab it. I know a couple of you grabbed them off of Amazon and did the Flory effect, stripped out whoever had them on Amazon, went straight away. Anyway, over on the Q&As for today, and I know you've got some in yours as well, we'll have a look at today. Peter says, hiya, not sure if it's the internet connection, but we had a hiccup. This would have been yesterday's show. Catching up on the live show with the video, the sound went out just after you showed the B1. Oh, right. Probably the Tinternet. I like that word, Tinternet. I used to say it all the time, and then people used to pull me up on it, saying I wasn't saying it correctly. It's like, I know that.
I know. I'm not
it's like saying the interweb, isn't it?
Interweb.
Oh, mind you, I blame Gas Monkey for that one because that's where I stole that one from.
Teletext.
Teletext. You remember that booking flights on Well, and you might be before your time.
No, that's why I said teletexting.
Do they just still do teletext?
I don't think so. No.
Is that gone now?
I think so.
That was like predecessing the internet. You won't know the thing though of being there as a young adolescent as I was, trying to get a cheap flight to some dump of an island somewhere as it would have been then, of waiting on teletext to get the one the night before to try and get a cheap flight. That was the thing.
I was talking to you about that actually. Was it yesterday? About getting cheap flights?
Cheap flights, last minute ones.
Last minute ones, yeah.
But they used to put them up on teletext, so you'd sit there halfway through the night, blurry-eyed, waiting for the page to come up. This is before the internet was around.
I used to always say, who are you teletexting?
Right, okay, he was basically, we're sidetracked. Talking of air shows, have you considered the Eastbourne? Eastbourne. I worked in Eastbourne.
Go to Eastbourne.
Do you know what? If we went to Eastbourne, you would definitely be the youngest person there.
Really?
Oh, because it's like God's waiting room, I call Eastbourne. I worked there as an 18-year-old. When I was doing my civil engineers degree and all the rest of it, I was working with a company in Eastbourne, and I literally was, as a 16-year-old then, I was the youngest person there by a long way.
Really?
Yeah, because it is like God's waiting room.
Did you
but I know there's probably people now live there, but this would have been in 1989.
So you had an older lady then?
Hey?
Nice older lady.
Yeah, they were all like young boy.
Yeah,
cheek pinchers.
I bet
That's
they
what
were.
It was. Anyway, it's free, and it should help free up funds for Phoenix. And there's a good calf and some black pudding. Oh God, we're on the black pudding again.
I only like Costa and
Don't get us into trouble again.
No.
Right.
I only like Costa and Starbucks,
yes.
Really.
You've turned to Starbucks.
Yeah.
We had a Starbucks the other week,
yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And all of a sudden you were like, actually, this is quite nice. So all those times you'd walk past a Starbucks because don't like Starbucks, go to Costa.
Yeah.
And now it turns out actually you quite like Starbucks.
I do quite like Starbucks. I literally, God, I can't survive without my coffee.
Caffeine in some shape or form.
Yeah, I'm on a really strict diet, but I can't cut that out. I just can't do it. I gotta have all the coffee.
Anyway, Eastbourne Air Show. I tell you, some of the best air shows are the free ones. Like we have Paynton one now, which okay, I don't think it's quite as good as Dawlish, but it was pretty good this year.
Yeah, did you see how big they made it? Because I couldn't.
Well, you were in the hotel, you were working.
No, I wasn't. I was in Amsterdam.
Oh, you was in Amsterdam with that one?
Yeah, I was in Amsterdam, so I didn't get a chance to see it.
I did go down and see it. It was good because it's over water. It was huge. It was pretty good because it's over the water. They could literally really give it some beans.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, because apparently, like, there was, because that was it. The council was charging £50 for people to park. £50 for people to park. Well,
I parked up by your hotel, but on the other side. Yeah.
I thought you probably would.
It's free up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Martin says, hello, Anchor Phil and Sidekick Lindsay. You don't know how much trouble you'll be in for saying that because I'll get it in the net.
It's okay, I don't mind.
That's why I sit in the crap seat.
He is my sidekick.
Yeah,
so.
I am. Look, I'm in the little seat whilst you're in the nice seat as well. That's it now. I'm in the squeaky thing that's horrible. And
it's
you
only
get the nice
because it
one.
makes you shorter.
Well, it's a little bit
really
shorter.
Short.
That's it.
So... yeah.
Anyway, I have the following question for you. Before applying the decals, I've always laid down Johnson's floor care, blue bowl shape, similar to the original Future Bowl one. Yeah, that'll be the old one.
You've got, isn't it?
No, I've got what it means. The older. I've got something planned for this. It's going to be seamless. Anyway, now after decaling with the microsalt and the red bowl, normally I've come up with the next stage of applying the Flory wash. I've had this happen a few times. On my last 3 builds, then when I've applied the wash, I find that the clear coat has crackled on a lot of the places, which makes the wash crawl into the cracks, and basically you end up with crazy paving. Okay, and it's obviously an unwanted side effect, definitely. Okay, first I thought it had been caused by the microsalt acid all over the model, and even on the places where no microsalt has been used. Okay, the paints we used were, keyword to this one everyone, guns. Okay, so this is what we're talking about down in here. It's guns acrylics. Do you know, or any of the Flory family have any idea what makes this happen or how to prevent it in the future, as I can't remember that I've had it before. Cheers, Martin. Now, funny.
Don't use guns acrylic?
No, to be honest, we've had this happen. What it is, it's the guns acrylic takes a long time to go off, and you get what I call the eggshell effect. Now, I've been talking about this video because this question comes up every couple of months, and I talk about this video, and because I saw this one, and because you stole the spray bait and I had a bit of time on my hands just before we came on air, I've queued up the said video. Now, bearing in mind, this video is from, I think it's about 10 years old. It's around about 2007. But anyway, it should be something like this. The end of it. From the top, looks absolutely fine, no problems at all, looking pretty fantastic. Unfortunately, on the underside, as you might be able to see here, I'll just pull you in a little bit closer. As you can see, the wings have completely cracked up. Now, to be honest, I haven't got a clue what's happened there. I can only assume over the gloss, and then obviously it had a coat of Future before decaling, that actually what's happened is that it's actually sort of tightened up, over tightened and fractured. The thing is, it was okay for about 3 or 4 days. This one's been here, I've been working on other things, come back to do it, and we've got that. So, okay, somebody was once asking, why don't I show up the cock-ups that have happened? Well, here you are, this is a good one. I will show you how to do it. Basically, if you're happy it's had a good coat of paint all over it, of your clear, you should be able to mask onto it quite straightforward and quite easily. There's 2 ways of doing this. If you're quite happy with your brush painting, you could hand paint that in and redo it gloss. If you wanted to do it like I'm going to do it in a minute, I'm going to mask up major areas, block them in, do them gloss blue, and then freehand all this tiny little bits just in. It shouldn't take that long. And okay, you might start thinking, oh god, it's gone wrong, and big panic and everything else. This is what I'm saying. It's a problem. We're modelers, we'll work through it. It'll be okay. Touch wood. But we will be alright, we'll get there. So what I'm going to do, we're going to get some nice wide, I've got some 10mm here, I think this is 10mm, Tamiya tape to start with on the areas. Going to do them, and then I'm going to blow them in, and then what will happen is we'll have a look after it, see how it is. Do we need any other areas? Obviously picking out. Okay, just like so. Okay, cutting to air here, and then literally we're going to get a nice soft brush. He says still looking for one as he speaks. So I've got a nice soft one here, into the blue, roll it, flood the brush, okay, brush it off to empty it out, pick up a little bit more. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll start on down here on this wing, and we're going to start at the wing root, and we're just going to pull back, and we're just going to brush in one direction. The nice thing is, out of all of this, is that the X3 blue is actually a very, very good match for these decals. So its saving grace is, even if you've got sort of brush marks, you probably won't see them. Okay, so I'm just gonna. And what I'll do is, I'm just going to do the doors as well. On the edge, just like so. And I'll just carry on painting all the way around, and hopefully you can join me at the end and it'll all look lovely. And we would have cured the problem, and we can laugh about this at the end. But this is one of those things I was saying, there's no point having a complete fit over it when it goes wrong. You really just have to work the problem at trying to put it right the best way you can. And if that does mean drastic things like getting your paintbrush out and hand painting it, then so be it. I'm just going to touch in a little bit down this line. You see, and that's how we did it back in the day. You were enthralled by that. You were like,
yeah, I was like, ah.
See, that's how the problem is. And to be honest, that's the first time it ever happened to me, and I hadn't been using guns paints that long. I've been using a lot of Vallejo until then, and obviously a lot of Tamiya, and I'd come in from the enamel world, to be honest, because I switched from enamels in around about 2005 over to using acrylics, and then we went through like that. But that was the first problem I'd ever had with it, and that's where I suddenly learnt that if you have guns paint and you spray them down and they look lovely and they are flawless and you think that's fantastic, and this is what happened on this one, then what happened was I put the decal down on top of it and I gave it a clear coat right over it, and then it all cracked up. What's happening is that the guns paint actually hasn't gone off and is continuing to shrink and to move about and everything else over the next sort of 24-48 hours, and that's why it did it. And I must admit, it turned out fantastic in the end. You know, by the end of it, we've got, hopefully they can see just down in here, you can see the finished articles. This is from the video. Go off and see the video build. It's a real blast from the past. Hopefully, there we go. She actually turned out very, very nicely once it's done. But everywhere cracked up. All of these on the tops did, so I had to remask it up and do the entire thing, including the red. And then down on here, you can see, I know it's not the best photo in the world. It wasn't pretty, but it got away with the problem. And to be honest with you, we often talk about nightmare model kit builds and all the rest of it. That was one of my better ones, because I actually built 3 F-16s for that video. And the reason for that was, and that photo shows it beautifully, this cockpit section, I thought, well, that's okay. We don't have to do technically 2 cockpits because we'll just do 1. So what it was is I built them, videoed one and carried on, and then we moved through. When I went into editing, then I realised actually the camera didn't record me doing the entire cockpit section. So I had to build then another F-16 for the cockpit, and to be honest, that is what's in that box there. And that has an F-16 cockpit all done and the fuselage is all built, but I didn't take it any further because I had those 2. So I built, technically, those 2 then carried on, and I had to reshoot the entire front end of that video to do it. So those people who were with me back in those hazy days of hands and trying to sound posh, so I'm like, this is how we do it with decals and decals, and I'm all speaking like this because we're being very British. And yes, tally-ho chaps, this is how we'll be putting this model together. So yeah, that's how it was. Now it's gone out the window, but he's trying to be posh back in those days, you see.
Why?
I don't know. It's what everyone did. It's because it's like being on the BBC back then. Because don't forget, that video is actually before YouTube came out. YouTube came out in 2007 late, I think. I didn't go onto YouTube, I think, until about December 2007. We were using our own server, so that was on our own server. So I was like, hello and welcome to the BBC. Today we're going to be building the F-16.
Should I be posh?
No, because we've gone past that now, and now it's better to be down with the kids.
Down with the kids.
Yeah.
I feel that I'm probably not very down with the kids, but but I do try. I'm a gamer, so I have something to relate to them to. Yeah, but I'm pretty old school.
Yes.
I'm very old school.
So yes. Anyway, going back to that original question, that is the problem with it. Now, how to fix it? Obviously, you've seen that's one way of doing it. What I tried to do in that one was to actually airbrush it back on to get rid of the problem, because then we let it dry and everything else. What happened though was I just wasn't happy, because when I tried to airbrush it on, that cracking was just still there, because when you airbrush, unless you start flooding it on, you're going to get gaps, and all the cracking is just going to be overcoated. So that's when we were okay, so that ain't worked, let's go back in there and hand paint it. And to be honest, X3, which is royal blue, is Blue Angel Blue in Tamiya's world, so that's why we went straight in. And like they use XF7, I think it is as well, for the red, so that's why they colour matched the decals to their paint, so it was an easy fix. So from that point of view, that's how we get out of it. But the trouble is just you need to give guns paints more time to dry than perhaps you're traditionally used to with Tamiya or Vallejo, things like that. So what you want to do is really give them 48 hours, 72 if you can, before you come in with a clear coat, because when you put that clear coat on, it's doing that thing, the clear coat on top with being a nice thin acrylic layer, it dries almost instantly, and then underneath it, it's still moving around, doing its thing, and then it cracks the entire top coat, and then you put the wash in, you end up with crazy paving. That's the trouble to it. If you know it and understand it, you're good to go. The other thing don't try and do is heat up guns with a hairdryer to speed up the drying time, because again, you get this thing where the top coat is nice and hard, underneath it's soft, and as it dries down, it pulls down and it cracks up. So sometimes it's not even a case of like what's on top is cracking, the paint coat itself can crack as well. A little bit of retarder in there slows down the drying time, just makes things a little bit more stable as well. So that's quite a thing with it.
Which is what I used today.
You did, you were on your retarders today.
I was.
Taught you the hand painting with retarder.
You did.
Indeed. So yeah, so from that point of view, it's a horrible thing. It's a pain in the ass when it happens, and it will bite you. So just might be mindful, guns, paints, just allow that little bit of work time and you'll be absolutely fine with it. You'll be good to go. You'll be golden. Crikey, have you seen everybody in the chat? 63 people in the chat. That's ridiculous. Right, okay. Graham says, evening, on your Q&A show yesterday, you talked about fellow members Rockwell B1B and the space shuttle and how large they were and sometimes looked toyish. I'm thinking of making the Trumpeter 132nd Su-27C, which is the massive flanker, in the early test pilot scheme from the 1990s. Obviously it won't have any weathering as it was a showbird. Do you think it would be better off making this in 1/48 scale instead?
Yes.
I've never made a 1/32 models. I'm worried I will be addicted to them. Yeah, and then you've just got to think of somewhere to put them. I was looking to build the Spitfire Mark 1 Su-27 as they are my favourite aircraft. One whole cabinet with just 127, I'm guessing. It will be. The Su-27 in 32nd is possibly the biggest jet there is, because it's a monster. The thing is this, Hans has just built his one, or he's in the process of doing his in digital. It is an absolute monster. I built it as well. Mine was a commission, went a long time ago, but where the hell do you put it? Because the flanker is a really awkward scale, purely because it's got a really long nose, but the back end's really wide, so you can't even put it in a corner.
Or a shelf, really.
Or even on a shelf, because it's just so wide. It's not so bad if it's the C version, because you could fold it up, but we haven't got that in 32nd yet.
You could hang it.
You could hang it. We don't do that, it's dust magnet.
But
you could hang it on the wall. That's where I'd stick it.
That's what I meant.
I thought you meant like flying.
No.
I'm waiting to go in the office where you've got them all hanging.
That'll
be next.
So cool.
I expect to see that. I'm going to walk in there one day and I'm going to bash my head on something.
Spaceships everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for you to end up doing in there. So yes, would you think it's... I don't think it is. Don't forget, the flanker, the way that that one works, because it's a larger scale, because it's a 32nd scale, I don't think it's much of a problem. The trouble you have is when you're looking at giant things that are 48 scale or 72nd, like the space shuttle, because it's 72nd, it's monster size. Everyone thinks the space shuttle's quite small. It's not. It's huge. Yeah. It's an airliner size. But
I mean, it's cool.
It is cool.
It does look like a toy.
It does look like a toy. The thing is, I think the orbiter's okay. The trouble I've got is the boosters and that. I should have done some more breakup work on there to break it up. But it does look
is,
bit
if
like
you can't weather it, then...
Yeah, but I think you're going to be fine on the flanker because it's 30-second scale. You could get away with a nice light wash. Perhaps if you did like a dark dirt but lightened it a bit so it's not quite as strong in your face, just to break up the surface texture, you'll be fine. But honestly, 30-second stuff, it's just where you're going to put it. If you're going to have trouble with storage of where to put it afterwards, seriously think about going down the 48 through. Because the 48 through is a lot more handleable. Just to put it into perspective, I've got it there. The 70-second scale flanker is the same size of an actual, well, a 48 scale Jaguar, Harrier, Mustang, whatever. Any aircraft I've got up there, a Sea Vixen folded up in 48 is the same size of a 70-second flanker. They are very, very large aircraft. So just be mindful of where you're going to put it. And to be honest, like Hans is doing his as well. He's thrown a lot of money at the corrections for it. Now, as you all know, I'm no means a rivet counter by any stretch of the imagination. But, you know, there is some shape issues with the intakes, with the nose of it. Hans, I know, he's corrected all of his. The back end of it's wrong. It's not the best kit in the world because, to be honest, it is quite an old kit. It's not the best kit in the world. So
yeah,
again, think
like
about that
crazy
one.
good modeler, isn't he? So
yeah, that's it. If
he'll
it's going to be perfect,
fine.
it's got to be perfect and aligned and jigged.
Yeah, but
Rivet
he'll
perfect.
do a great job.
He
on
will
that
do it
'cause
absolutely.
He's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah, but honestly, I'm thinking 48 flankers. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of which, Andy had one of these the other day. Hi, boss. I'm the lovely Pixie. See, lovely Pixie now. Haggis ain't so bad. Oh, God, here we are. We're on day 3. I thought we got away with this. If you've grown up with the stuffed heart, oh, God. Lemon stuffing. I'm still not convinced on that.
Yay. That sounds nice. Yeah.
I'm such a baby when it comes to eating food at the best of times. So,
He's crazy.
I don't mind eating a steak, but vital organs of animals is not my bag.
No.
Anyway, and he says that. Now that's on your mind. Yeah, thanks for that. The Raphael M turned up today. Cool. And the French Fancies build. I'm also doing a lot, but can't seem to find anything, any clue on what grey to do them. Just trying to think. What colours have I done mine? I don't know, because I've built it before. What colours will I be doing it? Well, because it's in a Revel box, it'll be some wacky
Did you use
mix.
Tamiya or MLP?
I think I did a Tamiya mix.
Yeah.
I was looking maybe MIP's Italian Grey. That's probably going to be close. Got to think.
Yeah.
Modern Italian Skyguard Grey, MRP 95. Might be close.
95.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. To be honest, it's one of those weirdo colours. I'm planning on painting mine some fancy scheme anyway, so I'll get away with it. 'Cause most of it will be under
the same
decals.
colour as my mix.
Yeah, close. Getting there
I think
for
it's
it.
probably close to my mix that I did today, which was Tamiya's XF85, no 82, and the flat white 2.
Yeah, so because you made a bit of a custom mix with all of yours.
I did, yeah. So, and that was a really good mix.
Yeah.
And I really liked that grey, so that might work.
Typhoons are a funny colour because you're saying here about the Typhoon is it's not as dark as the Typhoons. Any idea? Typhoon's a funny colour anyway because they sort of use that weirdo greys as well on that one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I would have to do a little bit of research on that one. I'm not too sure how that is actually going to work out. But yeah, you've got Italian Sky Grey. Various other ones. Yeah, just trying to think at the top of my head with that
Tamiya's Sky Grey, maybe.
Yeah, because obviously you get the different versions of the Typhoons for the Raphaels as well. Yeah. Or I'm going to get pulled up in a moment for how to pronounce it. It's Raphael. Raphael.
Raphael.
Raphael. I do it like Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Raphael.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it, but apparently it's wrong. Anyway, he says, P.S. The SU turned up yesterday. Thank you. Can't wait to get started on that one either. Yay. With the new MRPs all round. Absolutely, Andy. Have fun with that one. No problem. Sorry I can't be more help on that. But when I get to doing mine, I'll have a go with you. If you can hold off a little bit, I'm going to be a month or two before I get going on mine. But I'm building that kit as well. Norman says, here we go. Here's the lesson. Phil, you're pronouncing the French Raphael incorrectly. It's pronounced Raph-ale, not Raphael.
You said he did.
Hold on,
like
so which
did
way?
That 20 hours ago.
Yeah, we did it. Must have done it after the show when we were talking about it. Yeah, we'd done it last night.
Oh, I was going to say, how did he do that?
Raphael.
Yeah.
Raphael.
Rafale. Oh.
Is it the Rafale?
Rafale?
Look, we're British. We mutilate everything, including me. I'm the worst at it.
Well, I'm not... yeah.
The thing is, you're always going to get this trouble with things that are lost in translation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're always going to get that thing. It's a bit like, you know, obviously, especially when you're doing conversions to other languages.
Yeah.
Because things do get slightly lost. And obviously, being English, we'll just mutilate everything and make it sound our way.
Yeah.
So it's like, so Raphael.
Yeah.
And I've been to more air shows than probably, well, most.
Yeah.
And I talked to a lot of crews and everything, and they all call it a Raphael. Nobody's ever pulled me up on it because I think they just probably think, stupid Englishman.
Yeah.
He has no idea what he's in about.
I think it depends.
This is a beautiful aircraft with the most gorgeous curves. That's my terrible French accent.
That is awful.
It's almost as good as my hello, hello one. There's a bum in the building. So, yes.
Yeah, no. I think it does depend on how you're taught or where you pick it up from as well, because...
And regional accents
like
and everything else that goes into it.
He always said trash can. Well, kind of trash can. A broken up English version of trash can. But obviously we don't call them trash cans.
No.
Well, they don't call them trash cans in England. So even for years I called them trash cans, and somebody said to me, "You're not American." And I was like, I know that I'm not American. So I was like, so why are you calling it a trash can? And I'm like, because it's a trash can. And it wasn't, that's how I was taught, because that's why my grandfather said it that way in his broken up English. So it's a case of, it's interpretation, really, more than anything.
I think it is that thing. The trouble is like you say, like, parlez-vous français? Yeah. So then, do you speak French? Why do we even have the word French?
Yeah, French, when it's...
It should be like français.
Français, yeah.
So, why have we changed it to French?
Yeah, no, I don't get that. Français, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't understand why we've done that.
It's a bit weird, all of that. Anyway, I was at a French air show a few years ago. We get so off track. And I was saying it wrong. I was corrected by a local French people who were most upset. I'm surprised one of our French members hasn't brought this up already. That's because they know what I'm like.
Yeah.
You know, because I just mutilate everything. Yeah, that's it.
You are completely English, aren't you? Are you?
Well, not technically. If you want to go back through the varied gene pool of my family.
What are you?
Well, because actually, I'm from Holland.
Are you?
My relatives come from Holland.
We're alright, me.
Apparently, if you want to do the whole thing, I'm actually allegedly, only because my aunt went through the family tree and all the rest of it, and apparently it comes back to, was French, and that's where Flory comes from, right? Yeah. And apparently the story goes, the old Scarlet Pimpernel back in the day, so instead of us losing our heads of the family, got us out. And we went up towards Holland area and all the rest of it, but it was a bit different geographically in those days. And we escaped out of France up to there and then came over to England. And you know the full story of my other relative of where that one comes from. And if you really want, they even did a Time Team thing about my family name. Which was that manor house with the richest man in England who decided to piss it up the wall with parties and women. Which I think's brilliant.
You would.
My family were one of the wealthiest apparently, and then he technically pissed it up and died a pauper.
That's crazy.
And then he burnt down that manor house, which Time Team and all that had to rebuild and do it all and put back together. The National Trust spent however million building it because he wrecked it.
Oh my god. So how much would you be of this? Or are you just classed as English?
Well, I think I'm pretty much English now, that's about it, because this was a long time ago. But as I say, my ancestor set up Britain's first bank.
Wow.
And was one of the wealthiest men in England, and as I say, he liked women, drink and parties.
Well.
So that's about right for my family, to be honest, and that's where that all fell apart.
Oh wow,
so,
okay.
Yeah. And as I say, if you want the full story to this, everyone, my cousin actually works for the bank. It's not in the same form now, clearly, because this was hundreds of years ago. But actually, the funny thing is, she works now for the same bank, although it's a bit odd. But that's the weird connection, that she is now actually part of that banking group and works for them. That's the odd thing to it.
That's crazy.
Weird how things come round.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, Natalie says, hi Olympics. Had a problem with the AMT decals, or decals, depending if we're going to be posh. I used Microset, the blue one, in the water, put the decal face down for approximately 2 minutes until it was moving on the sheet. Perfect. Then I put the Micro Sole, the red one, on the model. Okay, this is where we're going to slightly go wrong. How do I get rid of this?
It'll be up at the top. So
yeah, I know, but I can't get up to the top. I think there it is. Okay. Hold on, we just need to go and get rid of that because it's cutting into my viewing angle. There we go. I put on the models and it's stuck to the model, even though the I added Microsole on and then placed it on your video. Okay, the trouble you've got is when you're using the red one, the sole, that's the setter. So what you want to do is, what I tend to do is obviously put the blue one on, because that one is the one that moves it around and everything else. When you've got it stuck down and you've rolled all your water out and you're happy about the placement and everything else, then you come along with the red one. If you put the red one on first, in some cases, and unfortunately this is what you found, it will grip instantly because it's trying to pull it down and get that decal to suckle down and be good. Okay, I know away you go. So never put the red one down until you're ready for it. So I get all the placements good and everything else. So I tend to do a little bit of blue into the water. So put the micro set into the water, the blue one, and then mix it in with that. If I've got a decal that's going over something a little bit complex, like vortex generators on a wing, or you've got some recesses, then I might put a little bit of blue down first. So neat onto the model. Then I put the decal onto it, get it into the right place, roll it out with a cotton bud to get all the water and obviously the set out from underneath it, okay? Then you come in with the sole, which is the red one, once it's in position, and then it will grip down, because in some cases, and it's clearly worked with yours, it's instant grip because it's got hold of your decal and go, right, that's great, and tried to pull it down to the model, okay? And that's where you've come adrift. You've just come in there a little bit early with a setting solution, which is the sole. I don't know why they call it set and sole when it's technically wrong way around. I would call it sole and set. Because I always think setting is the last thing you put on, not sole. Why they did it that way, I don't know.
No, that doesn't make much sense, does it?
Tell me what the bug is in there, please. That is literally it. You've just come in there.
Quick question.
With the other one, a bit quick.
On your on the cotton bud, when you're rolling it down, does the pieces of cotton or fibres go onto the decal?
Not if you use a good one, and to be honest, they are FC Johnson's finest cotton buds.
Okay.
Not the cheap ones.
I just wanted to double check.
Yes. To be honest, that is the other thing as well. If you're using a cheap cotton bud, not only are they rock hard, so they don't really soak up the water, but they can leave fibres around, and sometimes they even get underneath, and they can cause a little gap, and that can cause silvering and stuff like that as well. So always, if you can, use a good quality ones. I know like some guys use the Tamiya ones, which are like the elitist of the elite, because you only got like 10 for a $5 or whatever they are. They're really expensive, but they are very nice because they are big and they soak up a lot of material as well, and they're great for doing decaling. And to be honest, I did have a pack because, like you do, everyone buys them, and then quickly learned that actually FC Johnson ones, proper baby ones, do the same thing, even if they haven't got a pointy end. So there we go, Natalie. Hope that helps. Douglas says, "G'day guys, Phil. Just a quick question. I remember this time last year that you said you were going to do something for Australia Day weekend on the 26th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Did I? Probably. No, you're right. I did. I remember it. Is that this month? Australia Day. Quick, someone Google it in live chat. Go through that way.
Australia Day.
It's Friday, the 12th of January 2018 in Canberra, Australia.
What, so it's tomorrow?
Apparently.
Right, okay. Phew, that's a bit close, isn't
Well,
it? So he says the 26th.
Says 26.
Yeah, hold on.
So...
Perhaps it's different there. To be honest, we are doing a little bit of a live build on Saturday. Still got to confirm it with Matt because we got some computer technical issues with him. He's bought a Wi-Fi extender.
If it's the 26th, if it's the 26th, the weekends of the 26th,
yes,
then we can do something, can't we?
Right, yes.
Really? If it's this weekend, then we're kind of doing, well, you guys are kind of doing...
You're off, swanning.
Oh, swanning.
I would say you'd be hungover, but you don't drink, so I don't count.
No. 26th, yeah, so it would be the 26th, 27th and 28th. If it is the 26th, 27th, 28th, we can probably do something. We'll sort something out.
We'll sort something out.
And we'll do something. If it's if Siri's right and it's this weekend, Phil's actually doing something anyway at the weekend, so we'll kind of try and tie you into
Sunday morning live.
So,
I might have a Phantom here to build if it turns up. If not, I'll just play with someone else.
So you're doing Sunday morning, you're not doing Saturday?
No, we've moved it to Sunday.
Okay, so you're doing
because
Sunday.
apparently more people can get involved with it on a Sunday than they can on a Saturday.
So what time Sunday?
What, morning?
Yeah.
Well, my morning starts about 9-ish and then ends at 12. That's what we was thinking.
I might be back.
This is Liam.
Yeah, I know.
After a skinful the night before. You won't see him till midday or
well, I'm going to try and make sure, because I've got my ab class.
Oh, right.
On Sunday evening. So he can't be... No.
Oh, no.
No.
Anyway, he was also saying, and also, guys, you should do the Australian International Air Show next year in Victoria. Oh, God, don't. Look, that I'm getting that look again. I'd be happy to have you stay at mine and take it around. But awesome. It's an annual event. Oh, it's a biannual event. Every 2 years. See? Don't look at me, Pix. Don't do it.
To all these places. I feel like I'm trapped.
Oh, right. Wielding away here.
I can't do it.
Can't do it. Okay, Thomas says, hello Phil and Lindsay. Phil, on your build list looks very good, as it includes some of my favourite aircraft, Crusader, Sabre, Flanker. It's nice that you do the Flanker and the Airfix Phantom in 1/72. Airfix Phantom, plan for that is, hopefully, mine will be here soon, and if it is, we're going to build that as part of the weekend build live, so it'll be nice and relaxed and chilled and we can put it together. One question though, sorry, my question is there an announced kit you're looking forward to this year? The one I'm looking forward to is Edar's new Tempest, the 48 scale one. You mentioned FX's Hawker Hunter. I doubt that'll be this year. That'll probably be next year they'll release that, I reckon, by the time we get around to it. The other one would be the AMK Tomcat. Apparently they're moving ahead with that. I saw some information about that over the weekend. So yes, to be honest, the only thing I'm really looking forward to this year is the Sea Fury, Airfix's Sea Fury. Only because I really like the aircraft. It's quite a cool looking aircraft. It's a big, huge engined Second World War, well, it's not Second World War, it's more interwar, Korean War type thing. Piston fighter. So attack aircraft. I know I'll get people now. Yeah, it's a prop. Got a blender on the front. Yeah,
okay.
Thanks for the great live at 5. No problem at all. Yeah, that's where I'm. To be honest, I'm really only looking forward to that one. I'm very speculative if we see the Tomcat. Bearing in mind, I have pre-orders for Flory models. This is how that one goes back from 2 Christmases ago. It should have been out.
Wow.
So they're actually going to be about 3 years behind where they were. So I'm not really holding my breath, even though I have seen, obviously, like a lot of you did on social media, that they put up some pictures of the molds, or the tooling as we call it in the trade. And then they said they had problems with it, so it's got to be redone. So yeah, here we go again. Anyway, Andrew says, happy Christmas and New Year to all the team and staff. I've not been online since the 7th of September, so I've missed all the news. Lots to catch up on. I hope you had a lovely time. Love Lindsay's Star Wars jumper. Did you have a jumper or your t-shirt?
I think, yeah, because I had a cardigan on with it, so
right,
it looked like it was like a jumper.
But it was that one.
Yeah, it's
that
this
is
one.
The one.
I've shrunk it a
she's
little.
Put on the boil wash to try and shrink it.
Yeah.
I'm amazed the lettering is all still on.
I know.
It's just come out like a black t-shirt.
It was big and
Kiddie
it was
Gap,
a small.
who knew?
Oh. You know what? You've got to shop at Giacomo. So
that's it.
Yeah.
They do some good stuff.
Yeah. So did Baby Gap.
That's it. You also got unicorns on the back.
Yeah. No.
Could I ask about video cameras? I've gotten one for Christmas. It's not an expensive one, but I've downloaded all the user stuff from the website, but I didn't have anything else. I remember you saying you'd like to see members' videos, so I was going to try and do one. That'd be great.
Oh, that would be.
Is there any suggestions on the best way of using it? Thanks again for all your time, and all you do for 2018 is going to be a great year for you. Cheers, Rodders. Thank you. Light.
Yeah.
That is your biggest thing with videography.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've learnt, and that's why, to be honest, if you notice, we have a shadow. We haven't had a shadow on this bench for years, and that's because that light is dying by the day, and it's now blue instead of being white.
Yeah.
So it's about to get another one of these. I'm going to buy another one, and it's going to go over there, and that will go in the bin. And to be honest, they were the biggest waste of 800 quid I've ever spent. Because they just haven't lasted.
Yeah.
But yes, so from that point of view, light is going to be your friend. So when you're doing any video work, do it in daylight if you can. Get the curtains all open, get as much daylight in, and then turn on all your other lights.
Yeah.
Because if you've got more light, the video just looks sharper, crisper, and easier to use. As for settings, auto.
Yeah.
Trust me, modern cameras now, they are very good at what they do. You don't really need to mess around. This camera in front of us that you're seeing this one on, and the overheads, they are locked off, and I play with settings. We have white balance. We've got a little target we put out every now and again because we're in a sterile environment, as you know. That's why we have the curtains all pulled and the blinds all done here, is because these are all set to this lighting setting and all the rest of it. But honestly, when we take the cameras off, I just flick them onto auto because the cameras are very good at doing what they do. They're designed for it, and I am by no means a videographer or a cameraman or anything else like that, so that's why I trust the equipment to do the best job.
Yeah, you tend to keep it on the stand and have it at an angle where you know you'll always use that angle as well, because you don't want to be moving it around too much because of obviously if you've got, well, I don't think you probably will have an HDMI cable in it, will they?
No, you won't be.
No, so you won't have anything like that in it, but you do want to probably just keep it in the same angle. Saves you having to move around too much with it as well, because there's 9 times out of 10 if you're fiddling around with the camera all the time, you'll end up dropping it, and then it's a it's a waste of time. So just make sure it's on your stand, you've got the right angle, and just leave it there, just keep it there, because it will do the work.
Also, if you're going to show us around like your man cave, for instance, another little tip is that if you're going to show like a drawer, don't hold it in your hand as you do it. What you can do is, it's better to probably bring the items to the camera, so that way you can just come along like we do, and we can say, and we got some of these, but what you want to do is just to help the autofocus, put your hand behind it, and then what happens is the autofocus will lock on. This one, it's locked off, so we should be all sharp anywhere, and it doesn't matter. And to be honest, this thing's very expensive, and it's got a very nice lens on it which does huge depth, so it doesn't matter if we're really close or further away, it should all be sharp. But normal cameras, and when I use the little vlogging camera, it targets whatever's right in front of it, so it doesn't matter if it's a person or a pigeon or a tool or a bit of equipment. It will be whatever's in the center point. So what I tend to do is, just to help it along a bit, if you put the hand behind it, it just then enables it to lock on a bit easier. Otherwise it may be looking down the side of the object you're trying to show. So if you are doing something like tools and various things, probably better just to put the camera facing the general area and then just pull the tools out and to show it. That way you don't have that sort of wobble effect of everything that's all down in there. And like when I do mine, I have it on a stand and just lock it and shoot it into whatever I'm looking at, and it's done, and then just point to things in there. I just think it's a lot better than the seasickness thing of having things moving around. But basically, have a look at other people's videos. Obviously, have a look at around the ones people have done for the shows, and you'll get a better feel for it, of how it actually works.
Yeah.
But yeah, light is always going to be your thing though. You just want plenty of natural daylight. Okay, Robert says, hi Phil and Pixie, Steve, Hans, Mel, didn't we have this one else? Matt, I've been trying to enter the live chat, especially for the live auctions, etc., but can't. Every time I get this message appear, chat room invalid token 1. Oh. Never heard of that. I have no idea. The only thing I would suggest is that when you, if you log out of the forum, okay, log in and then straight away log into the chat room, it should save all your details, because it will know, it'll put a tiny little cookie thingy in your computer, so when you go in there next time, it knows it's you every time, and you never have to log in. The thing is, some people have said to me, is like, why do I have to log in twice? What happens is that the interrogation system that just makes sure you're a member and all the rest of it, as soon as you log in, it just pings your IP address and comes back and says, yeah, no problem at all. If it pings and you're somewhere else, sometimes it might turn around and say, who are you? Because I don't know you. And especially if it's a really weird thing, like you've just pinged in from 2 places, very, very close times, it might interrogate you a little bit more, and it may be doing that. So what it's actually doing is, because you've logged in the forum, you've been looking around, then you've gone to chat 10 minutes later, it may be just not knowing who you are. So if you log out, then log in, and then go straight into chat, it should take you straight in there.
I actually had the same problem
with
this when I was at my dad's. and it was well, there was two reasons. One, because my internet connection was shockingly poor,
as we all found out.
Which we all found out.
Yeah.
And two, because I was using a non-compatible device.
Mm-hmm.
Because my internet connection was so bad and I was using my mobile phone as well, the two just counteracted and it kept coming up with that message.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the problem. If you're using, I don't know, maybe an older PC or tablet, that could be the problem along with your internet connection. Or if you're using your phone, that could be the same thing as well. If you're not, then try Phil's idea, but if you are, that's more than likely what it is. Try switching to your computer if you have one, or try seeing if you can, there's a setting on your router, you can basically like prioritize certain items on your internet connection. So I would prioritize the device that you're trying to use by doing that, and then it should sort you out a little bit. That's what,
yeah. Little things all to try. Again, sometimes you can just get quirky little things.
Yeah.
And if you clear out your cookies and your various things on your computer, I know this day and age it's a ball ache because they don't ask you for every new password again. Sometimes it can just clear things out.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is to try a different browser.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Google Chrome, I must admit, I know everyone's like Tin Hat Brigade would be on me like it, but Google Chrome, I shouldn't use that, everything's Google. But it works, it's quite stable, but also try Firefox.
Yeah, I'm going to say Firefox is pretty good,
pretty good as well, so try a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, Neil says, one thing I've noticed when looking at photos of my own work is how naff my photos look. Any chance for a tutorial on the best way to take photo models? There is one of those up on the main site somewhere. It's actually called Taking Photos. Hold on, let me just try and find it whilst we've got the main site up here, and I'll show you where it is. Didn't somebody do one? Taking model photos. There we go.
It's all, a lot of it as well is to do, because I do all the photos for her at the moment, and I was actually talking to Matt about this today. It's all about making sure that when you're taking like a display or anything like that, if you want something to look real, then you want to make sure that you're keeping certain things in the background, and I use filters. Now I know a lot of you probably don't use them or don't like them or think it's fake or think it's this. Sometimes it's just enhancing the colours that you get in real life but you don't get in the photo. So it's just giving you those enhancements that you already have in real life anyway. So that's why I use filters the way I do. I don't necessarily use them to make something look not real. I do it to enhance it, because the way I see it and the way you see it when it's in person looks great, but you're not always getting that on photo. If you have an iPhone, use your iPhone camera. I'm telling you now, you get out your camera and it's a great camera, it's a really good camera, but I tend to get such a good photo, and it's all about the angle, the lighting. If you do have a backdrop and it is something that's black shows up all the creases, so you want to make sure there's no creases in there. If you're using paper, you want to make sure it's completely flat, but you want to make sure there's no glare on it as well. It's just making sure that you get the angle. I always tend to go on my knees if I'm doing a camera shot where I want a certain angle, but I don't want the light reflecting down, so it goes off it not very nicely. So you just want to make sure that I always do things from a certain angle, which is like a slight angle, and that tends to work. And if you want your model to have different angles in there, get low. I always say this, get low as you can to get that really, really nice photo, because you do get so many nice photos when you do take it from that angle. And don't be afraid to use a slight filter. Sometimes it's just an adjustment. If you have an iPhone, you'll know this. If you go on to the next filter on, it's called Chrome. That basically gives you your own view of what you're seeing through your eyes. So you're not actually enhancing the photo, you're making it look how it looks in real life. So, yeah.
Personally with me though, I always great believer in that if you can just do a curved bit of paper, You know, so obviously you've got 90 degree and just roll it down, stick it in a box, take it outside on a nice day. Obviously you don't want to be midday sun because the sun's right above you, but if you do it to quite low somewhere and you can get it and have the sun behind you, and as long as you don't get your shadow in it, okay, so you just want it sort of, I always say mid-morning, about 11 o'clock is always quite a nice one, 10:30, 11, and then that way you can do it, and with natural daylight, as much as you can get down there. And I like to do the 45 degree angles, i.e. you'll see when I pick out photos. So, you know, from head on, you just want to be like 45 degrees above it, shooting down to get a nice long shot, quarter angles, side on, things like that, rather than being right down on it, on the actual area. Or then bring the box up a little bit on a table and you can go slightly lower and shoot up at it. And if you've got enough of a swoosh behind it, you won't get any sky in the various areas. But just keep it simple. Just try and get as much light into it. Because the trouble is sometimes with here, we've got all this lights and you think that would be great, but it's too much light then for taking a photo, because video work is different to photographic work. But as I said, that little thing I was just showing at the same time, go off and have a look on that main site, because one of the guys, obviously a pro photographer, has put talks about f-stops and focus lengths and everything else. It's all in there, so you can have a little bit of an understanding on how the different settings work and things like that. Right, Al Harris, we'll just whip through these because we're getting on a bit on time. Just says, quick question. I'm about to paint my lightning using AK Extreme Metals. Can I use this on top of Vallejo's Gloss Black Primer? Or do I need to use something else? No, you'll be absolutely fine. As long as it's totally cured, make sure it's gone off for a couple of days, and then light dusty coats, just build up that one, and don't be frightened of what it looks like when it's wet with the AK Extreme. When it dries, it pops. It's a really, really weird sensation with it, but every time I spray it, I look at it going, that's not nice, and then suddenly it dries and it gets a real luster to it and looks absolutely fantastic. Right, Jean-Fred, with the big moustache, said, yep. Oh, we're talking about the Raphaels. Yep. And the A must be an A in calendar. Calendar. But Phil is not well known as a linguist. Definitely not. Absolutely. I'm 6'4". I don't do linguist. I just push through normally. Gordon says, hi Phil, looking for a suggestion for a suggestions made a rookie mistake. I'm building the Kitty Hawk Venom, and that only after getting fully assembled and primed that I've noticed that I haven't put the green transparent on the overhead windows. I remember Phil mentioning it when he painted the inside and still having the glossy look. But is there a way to get this effect? To be honest, I think I did this to mine when I did my helicopter, when we did the Dolphin. I painted it on the outside. So what you can actually do is mask it, spray it on, airbrush clear green on, and then it's a nice little touch afterwards, hand paint clear over the top of it. And that way it gives a nice glossy look, and you should be good to go with that one. It's quite an easy fix because I think I did it, if I remember, something or other. I forgot to do it and all, so I had to do it afterwards. But you can do it on the outside, but clear gloss over the top of it gives you back that luster and that glassy look, and you'll be good to go. One small more thing. Funny you mentioned yesterday about the port and starboard came from. I think you got your left and rights crossed over, probably, because I said port was on the right. Port, starboard.
Yeah. You got,
Yeah, port, starboard, yeah, port's on this side.
No, that's your left, sweetie.
Port, left, that's starboard, right. Probably, yeah.
So port was on the right, so this is your right.
Yeah.
This one here, and then this is your left.
Yes.
So it was this one.
Port, starboard, right, gotcha. Sorry, I do apologise everyone. Don't try aeronautics, naval. You think I've got a day skipper licence and various other things.
I'm terrible with my left and right too, so don't sweat it.
Look, just pass port to port and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Port. It's port.
It's port. Right, there we go. That'll do for us because we've waffled on far too much today.
Yes, we have.
We have. We've gone on too much. Look, we're losing people rapidly.
Oh, no.
Everyone's God, they're off on a rant today. Anyway, you can go off. Don't forget, you can actually see this beautiful review now. It's up. Well, I think most of you have got already. It's up with you right now, 1/48 scale, and it's a Copper State models, and it's the Armstrong Whitworth. What is it? A what?
It's an FK8.
That's it.
FK8.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See, look,
See?
well
I didn't
done
even
you.
need to look.
Look, could you see it through there though? Is that cheating?
there.
Mind you, your eyes. You
Oh
won't
yeah,
be able
no,
to
I
read that.
can't see a
That's
thing
fine.
there. Yeah, no. You...
Right. Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much for
thank
joining
you.
us, guys. We'll catch you all tomorrow. Friday roundup with all the bits and pieces, and we'll have your great work as well from this week, and we'll be seeing you very, very soon. So, till tomorrow, everybody. Happy modelling. Take care. Bye.